I lost 60 pounds in only 60 days without following any diet, without going to the gym. I'm gonna tell you exactly every single thing that I did to achieve these results so you can do the same too. And I'm gonna show you that it's actually simpler than you think, although it is not easy. But if you're willing to follow a couple of steps that I'm gonna mention in this video, you're gonna get incredible results. Before we start talking about all the steps that we need to take in order to get where we want, I believe it is better if we start talking about things that we need to remove, things that we need to stop doing because they are getting in the way of us getting what we want. So if you want to get from point A to point B, but there is something in the middle, there is something stopping you from getting where you want, you have to learn how to overcome that or how to go around it or even how to destroy it completely so you can pass through it. So we need to talk about this. The first thing that I want to talk about here is to get to know ourselves a little bit better. So the problem is that there are way too many people recommending and suggesting things, but the problem is that what worked for somebody doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna work for us. So we have to get to know ourselves in order to know what works for us and what doesn't. So, for example, if somebody recommend me eating, I don't know, like salad and things like that in order to get healthier, they suggest me following a diet, but I don't like that food. Maybe they like the food, but I don't like it at all. I can't stand it. So I'm not gonna stick to that diet. I might do it for a week, and even that it's way too long, but let's say I'm gonna do it for a week. Next week I'm not gonna be following that diet. I'm gonna quit and I'm gonna say this is way too hard. I'm not gonna lose weight. So the problem wasn't you. The problem is that you were following something that doesn't work for you. So get to know yourselves. What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What do you like? What you don't like? So those are the things that we can harness in order to get what we want. So first thing that we need to do is to get to know ourselves a little bit better. That's what I did. I noticed what my weaknesses were. So for example, I like to eat when I'm bored. So when I'm bored, all my mind suggests doing is go find something to eat. Why? I don't know. In my mind, it doesn't have to do anything with hunger. I mean, I'm not hungry, but if I'm bored, I want to eat. So I found out about myself and I said, well, I'm gonna find something to do when I'm bored because I cannot be overeating every single time that I'm bored. So every time that I'm doing nothing, basically I go for a walk, I start doing something, or I remove things from my house, things that like certain foods that can cause me cravings and things like that. So we have to get to know ourselves in order to get where we want. So the second thing that I want to talk about is changing our environment. So our environment plays a huge role in what we do and what we don't. So as I mentioned before, I like to eat when I'm bored. So if my environment, for example, I have a lot of food here around all over my kitchen and I'm bored, I'm gonna go to the kitchen and find something to eat, and you see that is a problem. However, if I was in a different environment and there is no food there, so I would find something else to do because eating is not one of them. So we have to change our environment. That's one of the reasons too that many people fail working out at home. It's because at home, that environment does not motivate you to work out. It motivates you to sleep, to go to bed, to watch television, to watch Netflix. So you are competing against all those things. So working out, it doesn't look that appealing to your eyes. So that's something that you have to keep in mind, that your environment will determine or will influence what you do, right? So I recommend you going to the gym if you can. It's not something that I did when I started out because I couldn't afford it, but if you can, it would be way better because going to the gym will put you in an environment where everybody's working out and there is nothing else to do other than working out. Unless you are like many people now that are taking their phones to the gym and they are spending 2 hours scrolling on TikTok. I'm not judging it, but if you want to do that, you're not gonna see much progress. Okay, so we talked about modifying your environment. Something else is that you need to get away from negative people. There are gonna be people in your family that they love you, we know that, but they are going to hold you back. They're gonna say comments, negative comments, that will destroy your motivation. Things like you're good that way. It sounds nice, but that doesn't push us forward to toward getting what we want. So we need to get away from this kind of people, because, or at least not taking their advice, because they're gonna say other things, more negative things, like, oh, look at this guy now. What do you think you're gonna do? Oh, look at this man, he's trying to lose weight. Or, they're gonna judge you, they're gonna criticize you, and you might limit yourself. So you might hold back a lot just because you want to please other people. So stay away from them. They're gonna hold you back a lot. It is pretty painful, but it's the reality. So if you want to advance in life, you need to get away from negative people. So now let's talk about what I did in order to lose 60 pounds in only 2 months. So attention, this is not me recommending you to do this. This is me telling you what I did, and if you can, if your body allows you to do it, you can go ahead and try it. But as I said before, get to know you a little bit better, and then you can determine if you can follow what I say here or not, because this doesn't work for everybody. So I'm a all or nothing guy. So I'm either all in something or I'm not. So I don't have to be half, like in the middle or something. I want to be all in or all out. So things like just do a little bit every single day and see if in 6 years you're gonna see some changes. That doesn't work for me. So the thing is that we need to harness our motivation. So if you're very motivated to make a change and somebody tells you that you need to follow a routine that is going to take you 6 months to see results, your motivation will go down by a lot. What I did was go extremely all in into what I wanted, which was losing weight. I discovered this concept or protocol that is called intermittent fasting. I didn't follow any diet. Basically, what I did was intermittent fasting, which is just limiting the time where you can eat. That's all I did basically. So instead of eating all day, I could be eating only in a windows of 8 hours in the whole day. So I would be in fasting for 16 hours and I would eat twice a day between 8 hours only. So that's every single thing that I did in regard to following any protocol or thing like that. I didn't change my diet. I was still eating the same things, because if I started eating things that I don't like, I wouldn't be doing it for a long period of time. So I kept eating the same thing, but in smaller quantity, and that protocol of eating only twice a day. So I also removed sugar from my life. So sugar has a lot of calories and that is not good. It makes you crave a lot more. So I removed sugar, I removed junk food, but other than that, I kept eating the same things. So if I start eating salad every single day, I would get sick really quick and go back to whatever I was doing. So you have to be mindful of that. Don't follow diets that you don't like. You can try them, but if you don't like the food, you're not gonna stick to it. So find foods that are healthier than you normally eat, but that you can tolerate, that you can at least find pleasurable, or I don't know, it's up to you, but just remove things that gives you a lot of calories, and that should be good enough. And I don't say that you shouldn't eat junk food every once in a while. I didn't follow any strict diet because otherwise I wouldn't be able to keep up. What I did was eat in smaller quantity. That's what I did. And I took it to the next level, because the first week when I saw that I lost like 7 pounds in just 1 week, my motivation went even higher. So instead of going to the protocol of eating twice a day, I went for it once a day. Obviously, not every single day, but at least 2 days a week, sometimes even 3 days a week, just eating once a day. And the thing is that many people were doing that protocol without any problem. So that gave me motivation to do it. And it worked for me. It worked really well. So if somebody tells you, because many people are going to tell you that that is not good, but not everything works for everybody, and what works for other may not work for you. So that's what I did. I reduced the amount of food that I was taking. That gave me the results that I was looking for. And if you can take a lot of protein, because that will help you not losing that muscle. I mean, I lost a lot of muscle, but I didn't care. I was willing to lose every single muscle in my body just because I wanted to get rid of that fucking fat, because I was fat for my whole life and I wanted a change so badly that I was willing to give up some muscles. So I was willing to make that trade. So it's up to you, and you can always take it back. So for example, I grew even stronger and even bigger after losing all that fat and all that muscle. So I was willing to pay the price to get it. Okay, so in terms of working out, the routine that I followed, we don't only want to get thin and be weak and be, yeah, just thin. We want to be strong. We want to look good. We want to be capable of doing certain things. So I couldn't go to the gym because I couldn't afford it back then. But the same day I got the motivation to change my life, I went out and I built by myself some weights with concrete, and I started working out right away. I mean, I had to wait a little bit until they dry, but the point is, I took that motivation and I started working out with what I had. If you can go to the gym right now, I recommend you going. It'll be a better option. If you want to lose weight only to lose weight, going to the gym is good because you're not gonna be so weak by the end of your journey. But it is not the main point. The main thing that you need to focus is in your diet. It's in what you eat. It's in the amount of food that you take. Not only the food, but the calories. So I didn't count calories, but I had more or less an idea of what I was eating. So I was calculating in my head, but I don't count calories. And that's where you put all your focus in getting or eating less calories than you burn. But don't go too low, because then it's gonna be pretty detrimental for you. I've seen many people suffering from a lot of problems because of that. But in my case, I know that my body is capable of a lot of things, so I did it. And many people have done things like that, and they've done pretty well. So if you can take it, that's the thing. So it's whether you can take it or not. And the best thing that I learned from all this is that we have to pay more attention to our bodies. We have to listen to ourselves and see what works for us and what doesn't. Because if somebody else can do something, doesn't mean that you can't either. So you have to see what works for you. And if what works for you it's against what other people believe, it's okay. You are the one living your life. You're the one carrying with your problems and all your anxiety and stress and things like that. You are living your life. If you aren't doing what you know you should be doing just because you don't want to disappoint people, you're gonna live pretty miserable. So start living your life, do what you can to get what you want, and don't worry about anything else. Thank you.